Hi, welcome to live stream yoga with Louise, tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today is all about the booty. Let's build some tight buns. As always, play where you're comfortable, modify when you need to, rest when you need to. You ready? Let's hit the mat. We're going to set up for today's class at the top end of the mat. You're going to find a comfortable parallel stance with your feet stacking underneath your hips, and we'll begin with some dynamic chairs, Utkatasana. Take a big breath in. On an exhale, sit back into chair, stacking one arm on top of the other, and come back to mountain. You're going to oscillate between your chair and your mountain. Every time you take that seat, start to drop the bottom a little bit heavier towards the floor so that you can start to feel the glutes progressively working harder and harder. Exhale as you take your seat, and then inhale as you stand up. The next time you find yourself in the chair, hold for a slow count of 10, trying to keep your feet firmly grounded. Thighs as parallel to the floor as you can, and glutes working as hard as you can. Then drape yourself into a forward fold, preferably hands to floor if you can manage it, or hands to shin. Inhale, halfway lift into tabletop, and start to play with the forward fold, pausing, and then your tabletop halfway lift. Looking for length in the back every time you find that tabletop hold. End in the fold and hold. Weight bearing equal on the 4 quadrants of your feet. Then soften through the knees and ragdoll style, leaning with the back of your ribs, restack, realign your body. Come back into your chair hold, big breath in, exhale to find the chair, hold the chair and start to peel your toes on and off the mat. Subtly rocking the weight off the forefront of your foot and trying to give yourself more weight into the heels of your feet so that you can really feel those glutes working. Make sure you peel all 10 toes off and that your pinky toes are not stuck to the mat. End with all 10 toes off and hold. Then softly drape into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Play with that movement, warming into the back chain of the legs every time. End in the fold to pause. Then soften your knees and ragdoll style, peel back up, restack, realign. We're coming back into chair, but we're going to change it up slightly. Extend the left leg out in front of you so that the heel of your foot is connected to the mat. We're going to try to come into a modified one-legged chair. Sit back into your chair, readjusting your front leg as you need to. At first, that heel of your foot is connected to the floor. Then think of trying to pull up from the pubis towards your belly button and see if you can lift and hover that limb off the mat. Then reground, come into the soft forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, come back into that fold. Halfway lift. Let's do that one more time. And then maybe hold your next fold. Soften your knees so that you can feel the glutes, and then ragdoll style, peel back up to restack, realign your body in a nice tall modified mountain. We're coming into some working warrior threes from here, and we'll float the left leg first. Trying to keep as squared and as even as you can through the shoulders and the hips. You're going to float the left leg up into table. Arms are just long and reaching at your side. And then come back to mountain. Let's do that 5 times. Find your rhythm. Not trying to sing to me, but rather just finding a gentle rhythm of your own. And every time you come into that tabletop, try to get a sense of where you are through the shoulders and the hips. Try not to pop and rotate higher on one side. Then come into a forward fold. And a halfway lift. Forward fold. And a halfway lift. One more time. End in the forward fold and hold. Think of that weight bearing in your feet. Try to give yourself maximum stretch up the back chain of your legs by evening out the weight between the balls and the heels of your feet. Then soften the knees and ragdoll style peel back up, restacking, realigning your whole body. We're coming back into warrior 3. This time we're going to find it and we're going to hold it. Find your fold. And maybe give me an active brace into your foot this time as you find table and hold for a count of 10. Then step the legs back into parallel and come into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Hold your fold. Then soften the knees, peel those glutes, ragdoll style, peel back up, restack, realign your body, take a recovery breath. We're coming back into our warrior 3 one last time and we'll make this one a working tap. Big breath into prep. On the exhale, fold into your warrior 3, keep a soft reaching toe line. Maybe tap the floor and float back. Tap the floor and float back. 5 times, you're going to try to tap your big toe to the floor and then float back up into table without popping and rotating on your working side. End in the warrior 3 and hold. Then step up into a forward fold, placing your hands on the floor, your hands on the shins. Inhale, halfway lift. Look for length through the lower back and the spine. Exhale to fold and drop the crown through the tabletop line. 3 times you're going to play dynamically with that fold and the halfway lift into table. End in the fold and rock all the weight into the forefront of your feet and pause there. Then rock all the weight into your heels and pause there. Place your weight halfway between the two. Soften your knees and ragdoll style. Peel up, restack, realign. Give yourself a recovery breath in your modified mountain. We're coming into a working standing split from here, and once we've found it, we're going to play with it. You can either do hands to floor or maybe grab your block and use your block if your hands don't reach the floor. Start to fold forward as if you were coming into a forward fold, Uttanasana, placing both of your hands on the floor. And then start to float your left leg up behind you, maybe walking your hands closer towards your foot line and making your crown as heavy as you can to the floor. You're going to feel quite an intense stretch up the right leg as you find your standing split. Then keeping your hands where they are, or you can bring them slightly in front of your foot line. You're going to bend that floating back leg and bring the knee alongside its partner. You're going to give me a working standing fire hydrant out to the side of the room and back. 5 times you're going to open and close your left side. You're going to end with the knee open to the side of the room, and you're going to hold for 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, wait. You're going to keep the height of the knee, and you're going to extend the leg behind you as if you were drawing softly in towards the midline, and then come back to your hydrant. 5 times you're going to bend and extend your floating back leg, oscillating between an open hydrant line and then an extension and reach towards the midline with your big toe. End with the leg extended, and then bend your lead leg and take a big low lunge step back, relaxing the back knee, but tucking the toe under and coming into a low lunge. Line up your knee and your ankle on the lead leg and push the lead thigh away. Pause here. Tuck your tailbone under and give me a little squeeze through the glutes. Stay here in your low lunge or come to a pulsing high lunge. Bringing the knee off the floor, you can either keep pushing off the lead thigh or stack one arm on top of the other as you lift and lower your pelvis, working a little pulsing motion in your high lunge. Then place your hands on the floor, step up the back leg and come back into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. 3 times you're going to oscillate between your forward fold and your halfway lift. Looking for that work up the back chain of the legs and into the glutes. End in your fold. Place all the weight in the forefront of your feet and pause. Rock back into the heels of your feet. Pause. Place your weight halfway between the two and pause. And soften your knees and ragdoll style. Peel up, restack, realign your whole body. We're coming into a modified curtsy from here. Let's get the legs and then we'll play with the stacked arm position. So all you're going to do is soften the knees. You're going to curtsy step your left leg behind the right. Give me a little tap and then come back to parallel. You're going to do that 5 times, maybe stacking the arms one on top of the other every time you come to your little curtsy. One more, hold your curtsy and work a little pulsing up-down motion. Step the legs back into parallel and come all the way into your forward fold, hands to floor or hands to shin. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. 3 times you're going to play dynamically between your forward fold and your halfway lift, working mindfully with your breath. Then end in the fold. Rock the weight forward into the forefront of the foot and hold. Rock the weight back into the balls of your feet and hold. Into the heels of your feet and hold. And then come midway between the forefront and the back of your foot and hold. Then soften your knees, ragdoll style, peel up, restack, realign your body. We're going to rinse and repeat that whole sequence, this time favoring side 2. Let's work our dynamic chairs. And in the chair seat and hold for 10. Trying to make your thighs and your bottom nice and heavy to the floor. Trying to keep your feet and your knees hip width distance apart with your lower belly quite close to the tops of your thighs. Then come into your forward fold. You know where we're going to. You're going to oscillate between your forward fold and your halfway lift 3 times, finding your rhythm. End in the fold and hold. Weight placement equal in the 4 quadrants of your feet. Then soften your knees and ragdoll style, peel up, restack, realign your body. Take a moment before you find yourself back into chair and we'll play with the toes. Exhale as you take your seat. 10 times lift all the toes off the mat and reground. You're going to feel that work into the glutes every time you rock the weight off the toes and the balls and bring the weight into the heels. End with all 10 toes off the mat, weight in the heels and hold for 10. Make sure those pinky toes are not still connected to the mat. Then ease your way back into your forward fold. And then your halfway lift. 3 times play between the fold and the tabletop line. End in the fold and hold. Weight equal in all 4 quadrants of your feet. Then soften the knees, feel those glutes, and ragdoll style, heel back up. We're coming into our one-legged chair. So you're going to extend the right leg out in front, thinking heel on the floor, toes up. You're going to sit back into your chair, readjusting the leg line if you need to. You're going to hold here for a bit with the heel connected to the floor. Then you're going to pull up from the pubis and you're going to try to hover that heel off the mat. Then come into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Hold your next fold. Weight bearing equal on all 4 quadrants of your feet. Then soften the knees, feel the glutes, ragdoll style, peel back up. Restack, realign your body. Pause for a moment before we find our working warrior 3s and we'll float the right leg this time. Even through the shoulders and the pelvis, arms are just relaxed and reaching at your side as you start to find your working warrior 3. Finding your rhythm. Exhaling as you come into the warrior. Inhale as you stand up nice and tall. Start to look for balance and control. And you might find that one side felt a lot easier than the other. We tend to have one leg just a tiny bit stronger. Last working warrior. And then let's play between our forward fold and our halfway lift. Find your rhythm, syncing your movement to your breath pattern. Ending in the fold. Weight bearing equal in all four quadrants of your feet. And then soften the knees, feel the glutes, feel that booty. Ragdoll up. Restack, realign, pause for a moment. We're going to hold the next warrior three. So slowly hinge forward, float the leg behind you, maybe with an active brace into the foot, and hold for 10. Then reground. Come into your working forward fold. And your table halfway lift. Find your rhythm. Give yourself 3 successive rounds. Hold your next fold with the weight equal in all four quadrants of your feet. Bend your knees, feel the glutes. Ragdoll style, peel up, restack, realign your body. Take a moment before you find your way into a working, tapping warrior three on the right. Float into your warrior three tabletop line. You're going to tap big toe to floor 5 times. Step it up. Find your way into your working forward fold and your halfway lift. Hold your next forward fold, weight bearing equal in all four quadrants of your feet. Then soften your knees, feel the glutes, ragdoll style, peel up, restack, realign. Take a moment, and then we're going to find our way from here into our working standing split. Take a big breath into prep. On the exhale, think of just folding forward, and you can brush your hands down the top of your thighs, all the way to the floor. Let's float right leg up behind us. Maybe walking the hands closer towards the foot line so it feels like your fingertips are framing your grounding leg. Your crown is nice and heavy to the floor. Keep your hands where they are, or walk them slightly forward so you've got more working room. You're going to bend your floating back leg. Knees are alongside each other. You're going to fire hydrant open to the side of the room and back. You're going to end in the open position and hold for 10. Then start to play between your hydrant and an extension. As you extend the leg behind you, you're almost drawing the big toe towards the midline of the body and then drawing back into your hydrant. 5 times You're going to play with that dynamic movement. Then end with the leg in extension. Bend your grounding foot. Come into a low lunge line, tucking the toes under so that you can feel the glute on the back leg as you push up into a low lunge. Push the thigh away, tuck your tailbone under and give yourself a squeeze into the glutes. Stay here in your low lunge or find your way into a high lunge. And you can keep the hands on the leg or you can stack one leg on top of the other as you start to find yourself into a lifting and lowering pulse through the pelvis. Then place both hands on the floor, step it forward into a forward fold, and then a halfway lift. 3 times you're going to lift and lower. Hold your next fold. Rock all the weight into the forefront of your feet and hold. Rock all the weight into the back of your feet and hold. Then find a midway point between the two and hold. Soften your knees. Ragdoll style. Feel those glutes. Restack. Realign your body. Take a moment before we play with that curtsy pattern on side 2. So all you're going to do with the legs is soften the legs. You're going to step the right big toe behind the leg, taking a little curtsy, and then step back to your start position. At the same time, you're going to stack the arms one on top of the other, active press down and up. Give yourself at least 5 dynamic curtsies. Exhaling as you curtsy, inhaling as you stand up tall. Then hold your next curtsy and begin to pulse for 10. Find your way back into your working forward fold and your halfway lift, oscillating 3 times between the 2 frames. End in the fold. Rock all the weight into the forefront of your feet and hold. Rock all the weight into the heels of your feet and hold. Toes are not coming off the mat. Then find a midway position between the 2 and hold. Soften your knees, and from here we're going to step back into a modified 4-point kneeling frame on the mat. We're going to play cat-cow, but we're going to change it up today by tucking the toes under and looking for some glute work. You're going to start by relaxing the glutes and finding your way into cow on the inhale, thinking chin and bum bones to sky. Get a nice little stretch into the glutes. And then on an exhale, as you round out into cat, you're going to squeeze the glutes. Start to play dynamically in your cat-cow, looking for work mindfully in the bottom, in your booty. And you can play at a 1-to-1 inhalation to exhalation ratio today. If you are feeling the wrists, you can come into a fisted line with your wrists looking into center. But look for that squeeze and that release through the booty. End in the cat, booty squeeze and hold. Then relax into neutral spine, release the feet behind you and drop down onto the right elbow. We're coming into some working fire hydrants. Actually, let's keep toes tucked under. Yeah, let's keep that glute on the right working. We're going to fire hydrant open to the left and back 10 times. End in the hydrant and circle for 5 in one direction. Then circle for 5 in the opposite direction. Remember this working hydrant. You're going to find your way from here into a down dog frame. And we're going to play with the same hydrant. Soften the knee on the left and fire hydrant open to the side and back. End in the hydrant and pause. And then begin to circle forwards for 5. And then backwards for 5. Then find your way into a full down dog, stretching both legs. The one leg is going to feel a lot more relaxed than the other. Then come onto the tips of your fingers, bend the knees and push the weight back into your glutes and hold a relaxed dog here for 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. Keep the foot position but drop the knees to the floor. Relax down as if you were coming into child and try to make your bum heavy towards the back edge of the mat so that you can really feel the glutes. Feel that booty. Then release the bridges of your feet. Stack your forearms one on top of the other and relax your forehead to the back of your hands as you take a little time up. We're going to find our way from here into a modified camel line. Start to peel up into a high kneeling frame. Think shoulders, hips, knees stacked in one long line, but tuck the toes under so that you can feel the glutes working. You're going to give yourself a little camel glute squeeze. So every time you bump your hips forward, you're going to squeeze the glutes for me, and then you're going to relax into neutral. You can either do a Superman hook around your waist, or you can place your hands in your lower back. But I want you to look for that little squeeze through the glutes every time you bump your hips forward and think chest to sky. Give yourself a few working modified camels, Ustrasana. Look for that squeeze and that engagement of your booty. Such a treasure, and we sit on it every day. You do indeed have a treasure in your booty. And in the camel glute squeeze, that was a bit of a tongue twister. And then come into a high kneeling frame and step your left leg out in front. You can keep the hands on the hips or you can place them out in front of you if you need support. You're going to find a nice little hamstring stretch here. You're going to start high, and then you're going to try to sit back, bum to heel, coming into a little bit of a toe breaker stretch. You can drop your fingertips to the mat if you need to, or keep them on your hip creases. Then find your way from here back into your 4-point kneeling frame, keeping the toes tucked under, and find your glute cat-cows. Looking for that active glute squeeze as you come into the cat, and then relaxing the glutes as you come into the cow. Playing at a 1-to-1 inhalation to exhalation ratio and keeping the toes tucked under. We're going to end in the cat and we're going to hold that squeeze. Then keep the toes tucked under, but find your way into a neutral spine and drop down onto the left elbow. Swinging the arm in so that it's parallel to the front of the mat. Let's find our working hydrants on the right. Opening and closing that leg. End in the hydrant and circle forward for 5. Then circle backwards for 5. We're going to replicate this work from the down dog next. Find your way into 4-point kneeling. Down dog it. And then bend your right knee and start to fire hydrant open and close to the side of the room. End in the hydrant and give me a forward circle for 5. Then a backward circle for 5. Find your way into a full down dog. Try to anchor through the heels as best you can. Thinking piked frame, bum nice and high, stretching through the arms and the legs. Then soften your knees, come onto the tips of your fingers and push your bum back towards the back end of the mat. Thinking lower belly married to the tops of your thighs. Hold your relaxed dog. Then think knees to floor. Toe breaker stretch, making your bum heavy to the floor as you come into a modified extended child. Really make that booty heavy to the back of the mat. Then relax the bridges of your feet. Bend and stack your forearms one on top of the other and relax your forehead to the back of your hands. Pause here for a moment, taking a little time out in child pose Balasana. Before we find our way into our working glute camels, you're going to peel up into a high kneeling frame. You're going to tuck your toes under. You're going to pick the hand line that works for you. And you're going to squeeze the glutes as you bump your hips forward into camel and then come back into neutral. Give yourself maybe 5 or 6 working glute camels. Hold your next camel, squeeze those glutes. Then release back into neutral and find your way into a little hamstring stretch. So you're going to step right leg out in front, trying to maintain your tall stance with that squeeze into the glutes, or you can sit back, bum to heel, maybe hands on the floor, maybe hands on your hips. Just do what feels the most natural for you, but look for that work actively in the glutes. From here, we're going to find our way into Sukhasana, easy sit. So re-wrap the bottom foot underneath you and sit in Sukhasana with the one leg in front of the other. Weight equal on both of your bum cheeks, so connect to that booty. We're going to bring it into a forward fold, preferably forearms to floor if you can, or you can take a block and lean into the block if you need to. I want you to hold this forearm position, but I want you to look for work in the glutes. Press through the forearms and your palms, and then actively pull your hips back, as if somebody was standing behind you, holding onto your hips and pulling your body line back. So I want you to look for the work in the right glute. Hold it. And then slide your hands forward, roll onto your knees, and then push back. You're going to keep playing with it. Roll forward and the roll back. Keeping a soft little squeeze through the glutes. You're going to end on your booty and wrap into a butterfly line. Soles of the feet together, hands on the floor behind you, and give me a nice little massaging side to side roll through the booty. Walking your bum closer towards your heels. End here in your butterfly line. Feet pressing together along the midline. Knees nice and heavy to the floor. Booty nice and heavy to the floor. But spine and crown reaching for the sky. Then open up from here into a wide straddle line. Upavista Konasana, as wide as you're comfortable with. Sitting up nice and tall at first and just finding that active brace into your feet, maybe for a count of 10. Then crossing left arm over right leg and holding the stretch. Maybe you'd even like to marry it with a slight fold forward, sliding your fingertips along the outside of the leg. Inhale to sit up nice and tall. Exhale to do the same on the left side. Inhale to sit up nice and tall, and let's try one fold to the middle. Actively pressing off the forearms, sinking your bum bones back, activating your feet and your inner thighs. We're going to find our way from here back into Sukhasana, this time leading with the opposite leg in front. Find your tuck. Check the weight in your booty, equal on both sides, and then find your way into your active forearm fold. Pressing off the forearms, sinking your hips back so that you can feel the glute on the lead leg working. Keep belly to spine. Then start to play with the rock onto your knees and onto the bottom. Maybe pressing onto the tips of your fingers. Let's do 2 more rocks. Then we'll end on the bottom and we'll find our way into a butterfly line, Baddha Konasana, with the fingertips placed on the floor behind us. We're going to start to work that side to side, bum cheek to bum cheek rock, giving ourselves, our hard-working booties, a little bit of a massage, and then surreptitiously just creeping your perineum closer towards your foot line. Then even out the weight on the right and the left knee. Hold your butterfly, booty and knees heavy to the floor, spine and crown reaching for the sky. When you're ready, you're going to open up into your wide seated straddle. At first, just keep a tall seat and activate the feet, toes to sky, and the inseam of your legs. Keep the leg line active and find your way onto the forearms. Push your hips back and activate that work through both glutes. So you're going to feel the booty working here. Take a big breath in, sit up nice and tall. You're going to twist off center to one side, maybe sliding down, closer towards your foot line and pausing in a modified saw. Then inhale to sit up nice and tall. Exhale to do the same on side 2. Let's find one more forward fold to the middle to end off today's practice. Finding active forearms, activating your feet, activating the inseam of your legs. Actively pushing your hips back towards the back of your mat so that you can feel both cheeks of your booty working. Keep belly to spine. This is where we're going to end off today's practice. Maybe just coming onto your elbow points, bringing your hands together in prayer mudra in front, and maybe just tapping your nose to your index fingers or your thumbs on the words Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for this booty workout. Hope you enjoyed. Till next time, keep it light.